right, absolutely adequate to human stupidity. That's why, actually, I'm saying this. This works, by the way, it works. So well, after such statements I became doubt. Stop, wait a second. And how is it, for example, no one, well, from the normal ones people have no doubt that Hitler is their scumbag, scoundrel and all that, right? But can one doubt that he was right when, for example, he exhibited pictures of schizophrenics, well, in mental hospitals who is lying down, all sorts of nonsense like that, and I'm not there for all these abstract artists. I will divide them into groups according to their classifications, where there was also the same brain. And he wrote, look here, what is this contemporary art in quotes leads? Who are they if not schizophrenics? So what, he's wrong, right? That is, if a person, no matter what he is, so it wasn't unpleasant, that's the moral here. What is it like for an honest person? But in some ways he is absolutely objectively right. Or, for example, he made me pay for, well, their buses, trams, people who didn't want to pay hard measures, but it turned out that I did the wrong thing by having to pay, and we need to force society. Otherwise it will happen chaos, disorder, and there will be no society. Well, this is a private matter. Well, of course, that's right. That is, any person who is wrong in something, even if he is right about something, and this is completely, well, on the surface, objectively, how can one doubt later if you didn't like something, but in a person or in his statements, I began to speak immediately, automatically doubt what? In yourself, and you doubt it. If you realize that the man was right, that he was very important, the thing said that he conveyed this idea, and so I opened my eyes to some problem, and you understood, figured out why, then here for some reason he immediately starts doing this doubt. Well, this is nonsense, this is just cheap protest, you're just cheap, a short little man with a very short intelligence. Well, that's all. More not signed. Well, I'm writing about properties. He wrote at the beginning that alcohol has two properties. No, alcohol has other properties, not only two properties. What an idiot. With alcohol, two properties. There is also, for example, a drug is a protoplasmic poison, solvent, fat solvent, and so on, gene weapon. Are there others like this? Properties. He makes traitors out of people, scumbags, traitors, morons. He generates almost all household crime. Then the person regrets it the next day, but he accepted. So there are other properties, right? He stops development, including mental, including any professors and doctors of any sciences like us. We see this. It causes brain degradation, as we are seeing with our own eyes again today, degradation of personality, destruction of the family. And you can list another 100 more points. So alcohol has someone, he will say 50 points and will be right. Someone 100. There are an infinite number of points alcohol. And not a single one in favor and support, and if necessary, necessity reasonable alcohol consumption, none, there is no argument. But all these rumors about supposedly there is a need for such and such booze, such and such food, all this nonsense, this unknown personalities, scumbags compiled. And who is against alcohol? Was only reasoned. Here outstanding scientists Bekhterev, their academicians Pavlov, their Uglov, and countless other people. Read the same Chekhov story, Champagne, and so on. About alcohol will turn people into beasts, as Dostoevsky said. Well, I won't give examples, but here anti-alcohol articles by Tolstoy, which they hide it from the public. Yes, they hide it. Even I was at Yasnaya Polyane. There is no mention of it anywhere, anti-alcohol. There's even something about vegan things are not said. Well, it's not much, but that's all. They know, so they don't really hide it. And here it is about anti-alcohol. He has 15 or their 16 articles were the most powerful. So read, find whatever you can find. In general, all of this needs to be published. I'll ask Zhdanov to find everything too, and I'll do it. I'll publish a video about this. And about that some useful substances still exist I would like to emphasize. Well, that's what I'm talking about, Pycnogenol said. Well then what will a reasonable person do? Well, really good for blood vessels. Well then eat grapes or what? In the throat doesn't fit, or grape juice with skin, it could be even more useful or better, therefore whole grapes. Well, actually the most useful thing is in grape seeds. Well, chew the bones. Well yes, of course it's bitter, tasteless, and in general there are harmful substances. Because then well, let's say why introduced a new product, again the will say about advertising. Well, how are they so useful? Deliver groceries? What do I not have the right to? That is, someone has the right to sell, and especially most of everything that you buy, generally harmful and unnecessary for life. Well, for example, I took it into my own sale of unique concentrates based on grapes and pomegranates. where from the seeds these unique products are extracted as once pycnogenol, resveratrol, and others the most useful substances. And they are right there in this concentrate in large quantities, so you can take it, dilute a little with water, well, until acceptable to taste condition and accept and receive indeed benefit, not harm, as from a bad one booze. Please, what? So, here you go, another argument in the direction that, well, I'm knocking these out from under my feet, the arguments are idiotic. Who wants, please, grapes? Otherwise look, they're useful substances, and then drink, wine drink, but why don't you eat grapes? Or here, please, concentrate, who needs it? It's more convenient, to still get it. It is the beneficial substances in large quantities. I'll leave a link here too. Those who want it, buy it. We'll send it where anything, yes, any of our products and accordingly, we will accept your orders. We ship to any city in Russia and almost all countries of the world. Well, countries where there are companies like Post Office Russia, for example, or somehow differently. If the person writing is Yuri Andreevich, you are a specialist by vocation. Thank you very much for your work. How many people do you help with your videos? We celebrate New Year without champagne even. Well, naturally, because it's the same filthy swill. And in no case, here I am, I say, Chekhov's story, champagne, read it. This is one of the most, by the way, it all starts with weak drugs, with weak alcohol. You understand that, for example, a woman does not start the first glass of vodka, yes, who drinks, or there is even a man, and with wine or champagne. It seems safe, it seems sometimes what seems like a tradition is a lie. There is no such thing traditions among the Russian people. And of course, that's all just it, alcoholization of the people. And it all begins precisely from the weak, yes. So, without champagne. This New Year was celebrated with friends. They were shocked that it was possible laugh half the night without booze. Yes, it turns out it is possible. That is to say, to be cheerful, so, interesting interlocutor. And, so to speak, this, of course, yes, what kind of sick associations are these? What is alcohol, so to speak? Fun. Such fun which gives fun exactly without reasons, and how the fool laughs, well, cripples the body, destroys genetics, and destroys the people. I'm a terrible clown, and without drinking. Always check mine glass, they think I'm drinking. Live clear, with a taste of joy. Well, that's why. Would not? Fine. Now Vera Lykova. She writes, what do you want from the youth? If parents are on the table on holidays, do they put the bottle down? No, that's what I'm talking about, I'm writing. I talk about this in my articles, I talk about in my videos, I say that it is precisely parents, the culprits, the murderers of their children, and some even give you something to drink on purpose such, and they also have a sick association and worldview that kind of, so that later somewhere in the entryways they weren't drinking. Which idiots. You are killing your own, you better kill yourself right away because then, maybe, the child will become a rapist of some kind, sadist scumbag. More chances because alcohol destroys the brain, psyche, mind. Well, and, accordingly, this is the kind of citizen you are raising. So, on such and such ideals. That's why you write correctly. I talk about this all the time, I say. Alcohol in the bathhouse, it's bad emotional alcohol. Men they gather for a get-together, alcohol is horror, of course. And they somehow justify it. Delkashi, you are simply filthy. And no need somehow, veil you're a fall, like even some kind of rise almost like his own. Well, there is no need for such lies. Disgusting. In the films alcohol teenagers they've been watching it since childhood. Once for adults it is normal, then it's normal, that's how it's supposed to be. That's exactly how it works. That's exactly why enemies of the people have been since the 50s implement every movie Papoika. Positive hero always drinks and smokes. And the little people who they feel like he's a hero, that's the most it's scary, they want to be like them. They perceive the image of the whole person. So the psyche is arranged, subconsciously, entirely, and for them this is already the norm of life. They will grow up and already be with their parents, they will try, so to speak, on the table want to be just like their parents. It is especially dangerous if the parent is not an alcoholic. Lying here is the one already below the animal level in a puddle, namely, which is not is lying under the table. Because the most it's scary that a child has it association of joy and a bottle on the table. Well, it's a holiday, New Year, a bottle, a beautiful wrapper is unscrewed, parents are happy, the best thing of the year time. And the child has this terrible one association of harmlessness, sick and harmful association of alcohol harmlessness and, so to speak, joy from it. All of this the first stage of alcoholism. And they, creatures, rubbing their palms, who is this for? Need to. But Vera Lykova continues. And then you have to take into account that there is a large mass people genetically from peasants and workers. For many generations of these people to drink every day was the norm. Now that's a lie. This is a lie. If you then video watch Zhdanov, you will understand, you will hear historical facts that how the Tresv was our Russian people, well, let's say before revolutions, even in older times, how there were even anti-alcohol peasants riots, so high was self-awareness Russian peasant, when tax farmers all these drinking affairs, when people in the villages stopped drinking en masse. You don't even know that because saw how the economy was being destroyed. Then there lived a family, sometimes 7 generations it happened that both grandfather and great-grandfather lived long. Many with righteous labor and sober lifestyle, quality food and so on further. Many lived long. This topic separate, I have evidence about these everything is in the corresponding videos. And then the grandfathers there began to teach theirs, so to speak, grandchildren or children who they destroyed the economy by starting drink. People stopped drinking because the community was everything then, well, and family. And that's when these bastards put it straight a bucket of vodka, with a ladle on the street pubs where people stopped going. Just drink for free because that's what it is, the nature of the drug. First they will give, first you start and then you yourself you can't, so to speak. I don't drink at first and then I don't want to drink but I can't not drink. Like this. Here this is how you fall into bondage. And then only honest people admit this and are trying to fight. Or they don't try with his addiction and illness. Well, while someone starts being nasty, it pisses me off, it's scary to lie to yourself and others that they say all this is normal, what doctors advise, that there is a measure, resveratrol and other nonsense justifying this filthy swill, any, no matter cheap or expensive, on at your desk in your life. That's why Vera started correctly, but here's how she finished some kind of nonsense. It wasn't the norm either. And the workers. Well, and genetic ones programs also influence and are transmitted genetically. But I won't argue with that. There are nuances here. In short, now listen, someone is there I wrote a poem. Let me Ammerheima is there and let me do others I will read you 2 poems. For example, Burns' poem A Translated by Marshak. This poem captures the essence absolutely. Especially those who are trying find any loophole and justify the presence of alcohol on your table and in belly. There are the following reasons for drunkenness. Wake, holiday, meeting, farewell Christina, wedding and divorce, frost, hunting, New Year, recovery, housewarming, sadness, remorse, joy, success, reward, new rank and simply drinking for no reason. So you are cheap. Just look for who is using. If uses, does not wallow in puddles, but on New Year for a holiday at least once a year should never be used. You are looking for reasons. But you and it's not yours yet case. Someone will say, this is mine personally. No, not yours. This is a public matter, it's a people's matter, it's your family's matter, it's your grandchildren's business, maybe potential ones that you will kill genetics, bastards, scoundrels and children yours. Degenerate everything, both strength and reason, and you will ruin your health because that is exactly it, that's what happens. So it's not yours, the matter is not your matter, but our common matter, public affair. Is clear? And here's another 1-1 poem for you Kotovo. Among the most diverse traditions, there are not an easy one. If it's a holiday, so drink and drink to the bottom. Drink one and drink the other. And the 7th and the 8th. Friends ask, press, squeeze. No, what if I can't? No, but if there is a reason tomorrow morning I'll be in shape, that means I'll be not a man. You have to drink even if you choke. Do you understand? Are you beginning to understand? No, right? By the way, are there any of you who actually watched up to this point or well, yes, up to this and right, yes, I understand. Or me, I'm beginning to understand. I don't want another gram I'll drink in my life. And that's exactly how it should be, a decent person would say. Not a gram in life on the table, in my house now there is no will never happen. And I won't pour for anyone. Because if I understand that this is such as how I can kill others, that's it by buying this filthy swill. I serve world Zionism, the mafia, enemies of the people, those who want to destroy us, and this is already I have practically done it successfully and achieved it. But even if almost no one has hands should not go down because again you are playing into their hands, like they say, to the enemies. No, resist hard. Then the person writes, I am part 1 will read the letters. I don't remember the old one, how old are you, maybe you're 20. Your listener subscriber. I recently listened to your speech video about what you answered those who like to drink with a bottle. I fully support it 100 to 200% understand. But I wonder how you or I have enough patience to explain to them all, to hammer into their minds the truth about the harm alcohol. It's great that you believe, that they will hear you. Maybe give me God and so on. Yes, thank you. You know, it turns out, yes, it's small percentage, let's say, but I have to do it because I understand that I can, how can it be, practically no one, so convey it in your own way, that this even affects some alcoholics, of course, but it will get there. And my main thing is this weapons, and rather what I want to convey this to teenagers who are still, they didn't start drinking because everything is very good with them. Just, if a person realizes all this, it will have a core. He really does not want to be a pawn, a puppet, weapons in the hands of all sorts of bastards who are destroying our country. If he respects, loves his own, even if not his parents' grandfathers, but ancestors and generally the homeland and Russian people, then he is not indifferent the fate of our country. And then he must accept the only right thing for yourself solution. Keep your natural sobriety forever, carry her whole life. Well, they will be useful bonuses. And health is better, and psyche and nerves, and, so to speak, the mind is stronger. Only positives. There won't be any downsides. Mikhail Rogozin writes, that's why I'll read it, even though I've already answered. Well, I'll explain why at the end. Alcohol is exogenous substance secreted of the body after eating 3 to 5 meals, Mr. Well. Less, let it be so. Doesn't matter. And a little more cannabinoids. How delicious, right? According to the Professor Savliev. Well, Professor Savliev is a well-known scumbag and, how can I put it, well, naturally an alcoholic. Naturally, an alcoholic who carries on with a smart look this nonsense that destroys millions of people. He is a criminal, he is responsible, people like him are for the genocide of any people, well, in particular the Russian people. This a criminal is a scumbag. Alexander Menshevin. I quit drinking 90 the second year, and on the second day to smoke. Zhdanov before me. Then we met, he came to visit us Tatarstan. Now I look 10 years old, at least younger than his friends. Easily I'll run to the 5th floor and so on. Children they don't drink or smoke me, probably because they're looking at me on me naturally because like attracts like. You, by the way, is this what you mean? The same the expected daughters got married to sober men. They gave birth to normal children. Well, as Zhdanov gave an example, we arrived there with our grandchildren, and the doctor then, the local police officer came in and said to have a look, as she said. Scary words indeed, in fact, the only ones on my sight healthy children. The wife had been drinking a little company, but when I quit, so did she, I didn't drink anymore. You see how this is how it all